This is DJ Sal. We're doing a morning drive time live stream with the alternative business and property solutions community with Lakhi Singh. We're going to be talking about lots of interesting topics for the 1 hour up until about 9 o'clock, until everybody gets into their offices. So be on the listen. And if you've got any important questions you want to ask, this is a time you can go onto the Facebook community, ask the questions. We have got everyone here stand by to pick up your questions, and we'll try and attempt to pass those questions on to Lakhi Singh directly. Morning, Lakhi Singh. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you all?
Great. We're out, as we've said before, we're globe-trotting around the world. Today, we're in sunny it's a lake down the road from a place called USC. It's a lake right next to an exceptional Green Valley water spring. And we're here. We were attempting to go across to America yesterday, but because of the wild bushfires, we had to stay here. So how about yourself? Where are you, Lakhi?
I'm in transit on the way into work, so I've just stopped off for this call.
Great. Okay, so as it says on the tin, it's a drive time session. So, Lakhi Singh, we're doing your life story, and we've decided now to continue your life story, and we're going to make it live for the listeners so they actually get to see all the warts and the spots of your life story without any editing. So, just to recap for all those people who've not been following Lakhi Singh's Wikipedia life story, you've had an interesting life, very mixed bag of experiences. You were born outside of the hospital in Middlesex. You then subsequently were transported.
I was actually born in the hospital, not out of the hospital.
Sorry, in the hospital, sorry, slip of the tongue. So you're born in the hospital, and you were shipped off then to India, and
I went with my family to India.
All right, okay. So you went with the family to India. Sorry about that. I mean, I've got the notes are different here in front of me. So you went to India with your family, and then decided to stay there with the animals in a farm. Is that right? And that was generally the gist up until the age of 5 or 7.
Stayed with my granddad and my uncles in the farm.
With the family, So you had human interaction as well at the same time. And
I would say majority was human and minority was animal.
Okay, so what is that you were in India and you spent about 5 years in India in junior school, where you effectively fell in love with the farm animals. Is that right? And you didn't want to return back to England. And I think your brother concocted some story about mom and dad being cruel with you in England and convinced granddad to keep you there. It was a bit of a funny story, but obviously you stayed behind, and I think you got educated in a boarding camp or school. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
That's right. And then obviously at the age of, I think, between 5 and 7, you came back to United Kingdom, and then was when your life story actually started, when you saw different cultures, different languages. You found a fascination with the European class fellows you interacted with and the teachers, which was somewhat unique and different to you. And it became a foundation of your relationship with lots of different cultures and backgrounds. And you were a person who was potentially very eclectic in your choice of friendship. So you had lots of different friends from different backgrounds. And then effectively you went through high school and ended up getting a degree from Thames Valley University, and your first job in United Kingdom on your return was working at a prestigious tailors, Gieves and Hawkes, which is one of the prime tailors in the city of London. And that was an interesting time for you, where you got to learn lots of management skills, and then they effectively gave you a chance to complete your degree. And after that, once you had saved up enough money, you decided to take about a year off or 6 months off from work to go to Europe. And primarily you spent some time in Italy, where you learned the Italian language, and I believe you speak fluent Italian. Parlo italiano.
Sì, perché no?
Thank you so much for confirming that. Yes.
Yes, so, I can. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. So you learned Italian, and you spent time there, and it was interesting that you learned the art of survival. Having spent time out in the jungles in India, you found yourself in Vienna learning to survive. And when you got to a point where you literally spent all of your resources, you ended up, I think, working in a kitchen as a slave for an Italian boss.
That's quite funny. That's not accurate. I set up my own sort of cooking business in Florence.
Right, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah.
Where it was the opposite. I worked for myself. Yeah. Are you just testing me if I'm awake or not? Because it's early in the morning.
Okay. Yep. Okay, so you ended up in Vienna or Florence, I think, cooking to pay for your bills, and effectively learned. I think that was your first touch in business life, or taking out the entrepreneurial side of yourself. And I think the saying that came with Lakhi Singh at that time was it desperation, or was it what was he saying? It was something like desperation is the mother of inventions.
Something like that. Maybe a bit more remote from that, which is adversity is the mother of all invention.
That's right. Adversity. That's right. Adversity is a mother of invention, and that basically got you through there. And we're now to where we were, because all these episodes, anybody wants to listen in to Lakhi Singh Wikipedia live story that we previously did, can always go to the YouTube. I think we've got a YouTube channel set up for your live story. Is that right, Lakhi Singh?
That's correct. Yep, it's all on there. So this is quite a good little summary of some background. Yeah,
that's right. And they can always go in and review your live story and see what ticks behind this incredible businessman, networker, entrepreneur, and lifestyle guru. So I want to ask you next. You've spent a short time in Italy, but I think you said in one of your notes that we found under your car seat that it was like being in India but being in Europe. Is that a right understanding or description of being in Italy? Did you find them very similar in their style of relationship management and business? Were they the same? Was it the same as being back in India, or was it different?
I think the marked difference, because India is a very poor country, but the way the administration and the economy and the way the administration of the countries run is somewhat similar to India, but the lifestyle is very modern European. But so there are quite a lot of similarities to India, I would say, more so than England.
Okay. So did you find an affinity when you went to Italy, and was that where you could say that was your second home in terms of where your heart was?
I think I prefer London in some ways because it's a lot more cosmopolitan. So I wouldn't quite say that, but I would say that it's a good place to live. The lifestyle is incredible because you've got the city life and the beach life, and
Is that in London?
the way of living is a lot more relaxed out there. So
Are you talking about London? And if so, which beach are you talking about in London?
I'm talking about the beaches in Italy. I'm saying you've got the better
Okay.
lifestyle out there because the lifestyle is a bit more about taking a couple of months out during August time, and actually it's probably more of a work-life balance out there. But the difference is that the economy isn't really as stable out there. So getting a job or being financially independent or having access to sort of good business to make money out there is not so easy.
We've got a question that came through. The listener says, can you, what was it you cooked in Italy? Was you cooking pizzas or were you cooking something which was more traditional, more Indian?
I was making Indian food. A lot of people in Italy hadn't really tasted it before, so it became a bit of a novelty. And I think
did they like it?
I was in an international school where we had nearly every nationality from Japan, France, Netherlands, America, people coming from all over the world to learn Italian, and that sort of tested out some of my cooking skills with them. But they all loved the food, so that's where the idea of organizing events with Indian food came about, and I made some good money from that to pay my rent and keep it allow me to stay there and pay for my bills and things for an extra couple of months.
So would you say that was your first big toe dip into business world, or the feeling of being a business person, or understanding the key principles behind business? Because you'd worked in G's and Hawkes, and that obviously was more of a employed status. Is this the first time you found yourself? Because a lot of people, sort of like equate the movie Slumdog Millionaire to their lives and say, right, we were there and we were outside the station. Your situation was this the first time you had to think on your big feet?
Yes, I did actually think on my big feet in a probably more bigger way than before. I have done various business enterprises in the past as well, but nothing at the scale of this. I think.
What did you do? I mean, it's not mentioned anywhere.
I did a BTEC National in Business and Finance in college, and part of that we'd have to do, and then also an HND in Business and Finance. And part of those courses we had to organize various events which were profit making. So, organized a disco before, organized selling of high-tech equipment, and
that was more simulated without the risks. I mean, this was real live business where you had to generate money, and if you didn't have the money, you would have been out again, or you would have had to come back to UK. Is that right?
That's correct. Yeah. So it's more of a do or die type situation, because if I didn't have enough money, I wouldn't be able to pay for my flight to get back.
All right. So you were actually planning to walk back?
No, I was planning to fly back, but I'd already run out of money before I did the dinners.
Right. So what you're saying is, had you not made the money, you would have ended up going to Calais and trying to get across, under a truck or something.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea, actually. Then at least I wouldn't have to pay to get over. But I don't think that would have been might have actually ended up getting arrested for doing that.
Yeah. Okay. So I
That's a
mean,
good
the point
idea.
is,
I hadn't thought of that one, and my adversity hadn't reached that far, to be honest.
okay. So now we've got you coming back to the United Kingdom, and I believe you've probably not made millions there in your restaurant endeavors. Did you actually take on a restaurant, or were you doing it out of a sort of like a school kitchen? Where were you doing the
Yeah,
cooking
basically, I managed to get the school there where I was studying Italian. They allowed me to use the kitchen and their facilities for free because it allowed me to make some money and also pay for the next level of course. So it made sense.
Okay, so
And they also
that was really kind of them.
Yeah, I think it was very generous. So I think everybody in the school, all the people I mixed with, they're all very kind and gracious. So that was very helpful.
Would you say that's also an ingredient of business then? I mean, is luck or coincidence or finding the right people at the right time? Is this an ingredient of business? Would you say that's correct, or would you say no? It's all hard work.
I think it's about 80% hard work and 20% is then just being at the right place at the right time. But the hard work plays a greater part in the equation, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. So you find this out. So you got the ticket. Did you get the ticket sorted out with the monies that you made from your restauranting days in Italy?
Yeah, that got sorted at the end. Yeah.
Okay, great. So you flew back. Which airline did you fly back on?
I can't remember that now.
A lot
It's a
of
long time ago.
people ask these questions.
I think it might have been British Airways or something, but I can't remember now.
What, cargo class or actually in the main?
Actually, it's cargo class. I managed to sneak in through the cargo section.
You mean under the wheels?
That sort of thing, yeah. I watched Die Hard,
Okay.
Die Hard 2 a few times, and that's where I got the idea from.
Okay, because this is a live drive-in, we're having 3 times a day. We've also lucky to get one of your associate company that works with you in the alternative business and property space. Is that Adnan? Has he been added to? Is that right? Do we know if he's been added? Adnan,
Morning,
are you
Adnan.
there?
How you doing?
Morning. I'm added. How are you?
I believe you're going out for.
We can't see him though, for some reason.
We can't see him. Okay, but we can hear him. Is there a reason we can't? Are you dressed, Adnan?
I'm in the process of getting dressed.
Right, so you blanked us out. Okay, and I believe one of the things we're doing in the morning sessions is we're giving people a feel of what's happening in the alternative business and property solutions community, that you're actually, I think, en route or naked, but about to get dressed to go en route to evaluation this morning. Is that right?
Indeed, yes, I am.
Great. You sound as if you're obviously, are you still in the bathtub, or because you're echoing?
No, I'm in the bedroom now.
Okay, you're in the bedroom now. Okay. Right, so he's in with the machine room, yeah? Right, okay. So
I think maybe we shouldn't be doing live after all, Salim.
Pardon?
Maybe we shouldn't be going live after all. It might be a bad idea.
No, this is for the viewers. This is to see how business works, how successful business people get up in the morning. Do they have the same problems that someone like me has, or an average person has, or is it that they have all of their clothes stapled onto them and they don't have to wear them, and they what happens with a successful person? I don't know, and this is probably excellent for people to see that even successful business people have a normal wake-up call. So if Adnan is still in his bedroom undressed, it shows that success isn't about getting up early morning and being out before the sun. It's about clever management of time. Is that right, Adnan?
That's indeed correct.
Great. So we've got Lakhi. We're closing off with.
I think, by the way, anybody watching, this is not a stunt to try and get you to watch Nan getting ready in the morning. So,
Is it? I mean, it is. I don't think anybody's seen Adnan yet, so I wouldn't want to see
Adnan, is
him.
this one of your jokes, mate? You're just trying to get more audience for the live due to
Yeah.
he's been to the gym. He wants to show off his muscles in a minute.
Okay. I
No.
wouldn't want to see him with his clothes on either. So it wouldn't make a difference. Right. So we were just talking about you going back in the air cargo in a British Airways flight to Italy, Lakhi, and finding yourself under the wheels of the airplane. And what were you thinking? What was going around in your head once you were flying back to England? What were the feelings you had? Or what were you feeling? And who were you feeling? I mean, either one.
I wasn't either one, meaning what?
Were you feeling anybody? What were you feeling? What were the feelings about your?
What sort of question is that? I think question goes back to you. Is that are you when you travel an aeroplane? Are you feeling? Who are you feeling when you're traveling back an aeroplane? Is that actual normal question?
I mean,
question goes back to you. I think
is
I think it's probably better to rephrase that question. Otherwise, the viewers will start getting a bit worried.
Okay, so the question is, what were your feelings in emotional terms when you were flying back into the United Kingdom after having spent about 6-7 months in Italy, which is a very warming country, a well-balanced lifestyle, having the beach to dig tunnels in, come back, cooking food for people, mixing with different cultures because you're in an international school. What were your feelings after that? 6 months in Italy. What did you feel? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it wish I could have stayed? Was it a visa problem? What were you going through?
Basically, I thought I better come back because it's one of those places where you don't want to leave because it's really a lot of fun and it's quite exciting. But I also wanted to get back to my career and get back into business or earning money. But I realized that it was not going to be possible in Italy because my command of Italian, although it's pretty good now, it probably wasn't as good as to be able to be in a sort of managerial or a senior position in a job in Italy.
So even then you were very focused, were you? You were very aware of your career and where you were going. Is that right?
Not necessarily, but I wasn't really that keen to stay there too long because it will probably take me out the realms of business or work because it's important to actually be earning a living rather than just me enjoying myself and having a great time. So I was having a great time, so I didn't really want to come back from a lifestyle and fun point of view, but it's not really something that's sustainable for a long time.
So you saw yourself as a bit of you would have molded yourself there as a bit of a Man Friday type of character, sort of staying on the beaches and living a life sort of in between cities and houses and railway stations, but that would have probably not been the right type of avenue to take if you wanted to be successful. You realized there wasn't any money in it, but there was a lot of enjoyment. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was a good way of understanding a different culture, meeting new people, looking at the history, making new friends. So literally
You must have
about
been
20,
knee
30
deep in,
people.
you were knee deep in sand as well there, were you?
What does that mean?
That means you were on the beaches. So was the sand on the beaches very soft that you were knee deep in it?
Nope. So,
Okay. So we move on now. You've gotten back. You just had the immigration highlight your passport, checked you. You had the interview, and they somehow accepted you to be a British citizen. What happens next? What do? Do you just walk in back into G's and Hawks and they say, "Where were you, Mr. Singh? We were waiting for you," or was it get lost? Where were you for 6 months?
well,
What happened?
no, I didn't. My parents organized a trip for us to go away, so I went to India for 4 weeks after that to
Okay.
visit family and relatives.
Okay, so you had a
They're,
holiday
they're,
and
they're,
holiday on
they're,
top.
they're a bit worried that enjoying myself so much that I might go back and not come back. So they wanted to make sure that come back and take me to India, so that felt was reconnected back to the homeland sort of thing.
Okay, so they felt that you maybe were losing your identity. But isn't that a thing that a lot of people would have gone through anyway?
Yeah, I think my parents are quite overly protective. They very keen that don't really sort of stray off the path of Sikhism or move into any other realm because of maybe influences.
Okay.
But I think there's a bit of that. Plus, also, I think they wanted to. I think they missed me, so they wanted to try and treat me as well and do something nice when I'm back. So I think it was a nice thing to do with the family when I got back.
See you back. That makes
That's
sense.
right.
And then we don't want to ignore Adnan, because I think he's got these trousers. Have you got your trousers on now, Adnan, or are you still in the buff?
Yeah, I'm all ready now.
You're all ready for?
I'm all ready now.
You're already what?
There you go. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready.
Okay, we've got Adnan on now. Right, good. Okay, don't be afraid, watchers. It's real. He's a real person, and he's not just born. He's like that normally. He likes to keep his head shaved. Is that right, Adnan?
That's right. Wash and go. Ready for business.
Wash and go, ready for business. That's it. That's the mantle for a successful property. And now, I don't want to go into culture and all that now, because obviously we're trying to stick to Lakhi Singh's life story. But are there things that you found, Adnan, and listening to Lakhi, maybe more not from his adventures in Italy or his problems in immigration, but generally, are there things that synonymity with you? Have you found identity problems in your life, or were you quite clear who you were and what your culture was, and how did you assimilate? How did you balance your personal identity with the outside? Because that was, it's a different time to now. Now we've become a very multicultural society, and I think color is not a matter anymore. I think it's probably so trivial that anybody still trying to play a color card or a race card seems very basic. So, did you go through any of these problems when you were being raised or born?
Not really. I mean, I think with myself, I mean, obviously, I'm a lot younger than Lakhi.
I think I'm the oldest out of you two
Are
anyway.
you
I think
62?
I'm in my
Adnan?
50s.
Sorry.
Okay. So, what did you say, Lakhi?
I said I think I'm older than both of you put together.
You possibly are, yes. So Adnan, so you're in your early 60s. So, I mean, when you came, did you come to England or were you born here?
Well, I was born in India and then migrated to Saudi Arabia. Lived there for about 5 years before I came to the UK. So I was 5 when I came to the UK. So ever since then.
So you actually came yourself, decided to just pack your bag at the age of 5 and just sit on an airplane, and or was it a bit more colourful?
It was more,
like
the family. So my parents, obviously, my father had a job obviously here, offer in the UK. So he came here then. So yeah, that's it. I mean, I've been here ever since.
Ever since. So you're slightly similar, but on the other side of the fence, in the sense you were born in another part of the world. You found yourself in Saudi, packed your nappies, and came to England.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any memories of those? Because Lakhi seems to have very vivid memories of trying on tights that he borrowed from his teacher.
I think that's more in your imagination, I would say.
Yeah.
I was probably like, do you know you have a distorted imagination, that sort of things that come in your head, I think.
Okay. I mean, well, I mean, did you have any vivid memories, Adnan, of your childhood similar to Lakhi? Anything prominent that happened to you?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, I think my upbringing was a bit more less complicated. Let's put it that way. It's pretty straightforward.
Right. So having a convoluted upbringing like Lakhi does help becoming successful.
That's right. Yeah. I think the more challenges you face early on, the more successful you become.
Pardon?
The more challenges you face early on, the more successful you become.
Yeah. The more. Right. Okay. So the more. What did you say? The more colourful. Did you say?
The more challenges you face in life early on.
Oh, the more challenges. Right. Okay. So, Lakhi Singh, I'm going to use this opportunity to just flip over now to Adnan because he's got his clothes on now. And I think you're going out for evaluation this morning, Adnan. Is that right?
I am indeed, yes, to lovely Coventry.
Okay. So this is an ideal opportunity. Both of you there. Adnan runs the alternative property side of your group. Is that right, Lakhi Singh?
That's correct. Yeah. He runs the property sales across the UK-wide property sales. So he manages all the acquisitions for buyers, and the sales, takes on all the sales contracts across the whole UK.
Okay, so a lot of people ask us, what is alternative about the way you're doing it? Why is it alternative? What is there something special? Do you have a special, commission rate or something that nobody else is giving? What are you doing which is unique and different? What's alternative about it, Adnan?
Well, I mean, right now I'm looking at the circumstances within the UK. We've kind of devised a different strategy to use. So we've come up with an idea of not offering vendors, or not charging vendors a commission. So we're offering a 0% commission
0%?
rate.
0%,
yeah. Absolutely 0.
Okay, so you're actually allowing sellers, I mean, let's use a more sort of simplistic words. You're allowing sellers to sell their property at 0%. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, and is this a permanent feature, or is this just a limited offer you've got on?
It's going to be a permanent feature. I mean, we have a sort of strategy in place to look after throughout the whole UK. Pretty much like how your hybrid estate agents used to work, but we're doing it at 0%.
Okay, that's really interesting, and that's one of the key features of the alternative way that you're doing property business. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously just to help out, obviously, all those vendors. I mean, we don't know what the market's going to be like within the next few months or a few years. This way, we can actually allow and get access to a lot of properties for our buyers who are actually registered with us, and we can assist the vendors at the same time.
Okay, that's really good. That's really interesting. Okay, so I mean, what you're saying is you've got a model that's going to be sustainable, so it's not a short-term model or a clever gimmick to get people in. What you're saying is basically the model that you've derived, which looks at an uncertain market, means that you are going to give sellers the opportunity to sell their property for zero commissions. Is that right?
That's right. Yes.
So, don't you think this is going to be quite drastic in comparison to the likes of Purple Bricks and the others who are trying to give, like an excellent offer? You can sell your property in a few £100s. Why do you think they haven't been able to ride this storm of the uncertain market, and why do you think you will? What is it about your model?
Well, we're not using the right to sort of traditional methods. So I know obviously Lakhi will have his say on it as well, because he's a social media expert on this. So we're using obviously Lakhi's experience in social media to obviously advertise and get our sort of clientele and our properties out there. And that's probably the best and most cost-effective way for ourselves as a company. So
Good.
when you think of from so when you look from that point of view, we're not incurring any cost for advertising. So why are we going to put that onto the vendor or to the seller?
That makes sense. That really makes sense. That's a clever way of conducting business. And what you're saying is the uncertainty in the market. Do you deal with people who've got problematic properties or problematic portfolios? How can you help them? So let's suppose we have clients who've emailed us saying, we're asking all the time, whether they can get to speak to Lakhi Singh about their portfolios. Now, somebody with a 20 property portfolio who wants to sell those properties, or at least restructure, do you assist those? Because I think that's more on the alternative business side of the group. Is that right, Lakhi? Trying to help people offload their property portfolios and restructure. Is that right?
That's right. We've got a comprehensive, let's just say, set of departments that can help clients in any area of property. So one area is that we can help clients who are actually maybe losing their property, or they've got a missed payment and they're having problems with the bank. Another area is they've got a portfolio and they may have a few negative equity properties, and they're looking to actually write off the debt on the negative equity properties, but they don't know how. So they're looking for a total solution to that problem. So all of those problems actually we help the client with. And when people come to us, sometimes they don't really have those sort of problems. They just want a normal sale. So we can offer them a comprehensive service, no matter what their situation in property, whether they want to sell, whether they've got a problem, whether they want to optimize, or whether they want to get some advice on whether they can develop and sell. So we're getting a lot of investors coming on board who want to maybe sell quickly because they're looking for their next opportunity and they want to capitalize all their assets. So it's quite a mixed bag, but sometimes it's not always problems. But 80% of the people that come to us are buyers that are actually knocking on our door looking for good deals. So we're busy on every front, really.
So I remember seeing a picture, Adnan, you had up somewhere on Facebook with a big RAC written across your forehead. I thought, was that the Royal Automobile Association, or was that what's that? Is that the business angle that you've got?
Yes, I mean, with the RSC model, we're actually helping those who are out of, for example, now if you're out of a job, you're looking for an extra income coming through, we actually allow you or give you a platform for you to actually work with us. That way you can actually add your properties that you want to sell, or if you've got any legal matters, any financial referrals, pass them on to us. We will deal with them. And from that, they can get commission cut back.
Okay, so the alternative business and property solutions community actually has a proper business angle in terms of you've got a special platform that you're providing to people who are on the platform, on the group, who have lost their job. So you actually are providing a source of income for them. Is that what you're saying?
That's what, yeah, 100%, yeah.
What's the website? Where do they need to go if they want to work out how to? This, it stands for what? Rescue Associate, or is that what it stands for? Or, pardon?
Lucky answer that one.
It's a rescue associate.
Yeah.
So RAC.
Okay.
It's basically
like the vehicle, not like the car RAC. This is
it's
the
sort of like
rescue
a play
associate.
of words with RAC, because it's where people are now. It's a bit like roadside assistance, but for business and property people. So somebody's
Okay,
looking
so
for
it's a
finance.
metaphorical way of saying the same thing.
Yeah, it's just a clever play of words, a bit like FC UK. Yeah.
FUK,
I thought I'd
which
say that
is
before you did.
okay,
Which is
right,
like
okay, so
a fashion brand.
So your mind is now awake, back to where it normally is.
No, I'm just coming up to your level.
Okay, right. Okay, so it's a bit like STUK. It's got a metaphorical meaning. It relates to assistance and recovery and all those things, but in the property world. And Adnan, you use this as a tool, as a business tool. You're saying it's for people who are unemployed. But what is the fee to you? Do they have to pay anything for this tool? Is it something you have to pay for?
No, we're giving that away for free right now. So we've got entry level in there right now, which is a basic sort of level.
Yeah.
You've got, so if you have any sort of clientele that you're getting in touch with, maybe your next door neighbor who's going for financial problems, you can put those details through to us and we'll assist them. Same with properties. If there's a neighbor in your area who's selling the property, they can't sell it, put those details onto that platform for us to actually manage, and we'll sell it for them. In return, you get referral fee.
Excellent. What do they get for that? So obviously, I can understand that they refer you something. What are they getting? Some commission or something for it? Are they getting some money back for having given you that referral? Pardon?
Yeah. So for every referral they give us, they get commission. So whatever commission or value will be agreed upon, that's what they'll get.
Okay. Depending upon.
It depends. So what
Is
sort
the
of case
commission already agreed, or is it something you agree with them? How does it work?
If it's a commercial, say if it's a finance, then the finance will depend on what the amount of finance there is on commission. Same with properties. I believe with properties we give them a flat fee, referral fee, but with legals and finance, I'm not too sure yet.
Okay, so that's probably more.
Basically, what happens is anybody that's coming in that becomes a client, typically the upfront payment is 2,500 for that type of service. Like a lot of people want to set up a limited company, they don't know how to do it, put their portfolio in it, or somebody wants a bridge finance, but they want it done like yesterday, or somebody's got some sort of repossession issue and they need a requirement to actually, when the LPA receivers, they've got receivers or bailiffs coming to their door to evict them. So they're looking for advice about how to do that. So we provide a
timing signal. What's the time now? Right. So okay, we still got time. Sorry about that. Look, I was just checking. We have a specific time booked.
So basically, we've got about 50 different services that we provide. Anything from business loans to helping with setting up limited companies, dealing with capital gains tax and structure, getting expert tax advice from our specialists, to selling a property quick or getting 100% joint venture funding, or looking at getting planning on a piece of land that's more or less impossible to get planning on. So we are working across the whole of the UK with hundreds of people, and one of the main reasons the RAC model works is people are now looking for an income. They may be furloughed, or their job is no longer there. They're looking for an alternative way of making income. So you were asking earlier why we called it alternative.
How does it work then? What do you use? I mean, what type of underlying knowledge do they need to be able to do this? Because it seems it's got a lot of important areas surrounding property. What's the key factor? How do they get business in? Do they need to have some expertise in anything, or any particular license?
I would say there's probably about 3 key bits of information that they've got that will actually help them to excel in their ability to introduce clients. So the first is just understanding property, the nature of property and business. So a lot of those things are very basic. So, what's a mortgage, what's a loan to value, what's an interest rate, those type of things, just to understand the basic mechanics of property. Second is having a network. So if you've got, you're strong with social media, good at generating leads, or you've got a database of people you already worked with in another industry related to property or business. So having that network is important. And thirdly, in some ways, one of the most important things is really having good written or telephone skills to talk to people. Because if you can communicate with people well, a lot of people are going through financial hardship or lost their job. So
where do they find this? Is it a website, or is it an office somewhere? How do they find out about this? How do they become a member? Is it a?
It's very simple. They go to rescuemyproperties.co.uk straight away now. We put a special offer during the time of COVID-19 where they've reduced our basic entry level of becoming a associate from £2,000 to 0. Let me say that again, 0. So if it's 0, you're not having to pay anything, then there's hardly anything you've got to lose. If you've got time on your hands, which a lot of people do, there's an opportunity to making additional income and learning new skills. Now, the only other thing I'd say is that if you haven't got a network, you know a bit about property, and you're a good communicator, then you can go into social media and learn social media. And if you do the basics in social media, you'll be in quite a good position to pick up clients. Just have to understand to do with property and business. So everything's actually on the website, tells you everything we do. And if you've got any questions or have anything at all, just you can get in contact with our offices, and we'll call you back and set up a consultation with you, a free consultation for half an hour to explain the basics if you're not quite clear. But to make it even easier,
sounds great.
There's a whole there's hundreds of videos literally on the website. If you go to the events and media section, and there's YouTube clips, there's about 50 videos that explain everything you need to do. So there isn't really anything that's missed. So I may not be able to cover all those things now because we haven't got 20 hours to do it. But there's more than about 5-6 hours worth of material there. It's studied actually.
Okay, that's good.
Could be the difference between a massive income and being at home twiddling your thumbs.
Okay, that means, I mean, we've had an interesting sort of like input, and for everybody who's listening and everybody who's got to understand what is happening in the alternative property and business community with Lakhi Singh, the property fixer, do visit the Facebook group and you will find it, and also Lakhi Singh, the property fixer website. So either one, go on there and you will find all of this interesting information. Thank you so much for having spared your times. We're going to have, I think, a Wednesday morning dial-in and then a Friday morning dial-in during the drive time. And,
what about the fixer sign?
Right, okay, the fixer sign, but this is the Wikipedia live story for the fixer. So we're sort of
That's
like
right, Adnan.
merging both.
That's fine.
Uh,
I'm getting them all
so you
confused.
can
We're getting
do
so many
that as well
interviews.
if you like, or you can make other hand signals, whichever suits you. And Adnan, it would be interesting. Do you? I mean, I assume being up at this time, you go out and do valuations, or you go and do property visit. It'd be interesting for our viewers if you could arrange to go out and do a viewing or a meeting with one of your vendors or surveyors or in the morning feed, and we could see actually how you make moves in property.
By all means, yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
That'd be a good idea. You sound
good idea.
extremely enthusiastic about it. So I would take that as a yes. So thank you very much, guys, for being on the drive time. We'll see you again on Wednesday. And this will be a regular event for people to get latest information about the property market. Next time, we're going to be asking you particular news, Adnan, about what's happening within the property market in the different areas you guys have set up. I believe you've done it in a unique way, and we'll ask you more detailed questions about how you've broken the groups down and what's happening in the various areas. Yeah?
Yep, perfect. No worries.
Thank you much for your enthusiasm. Lakhi Singh, take care. Adnan, take care.
All right.
Speak to you
Okay,
Wednesday.
thank you very much for the interview.
Bye-bye.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.